the entire leftoid gaming community, the ones that gatecap, the ones that are responsible for the state of modern gaming, which is essentially everything in the AAA sphere, is absolute garbage.
Just so you know, that was the communists that did this. Yeah, the state of current AAA video games, these monstrously huge corporations, they're basically bottom line and business ethics. It's because of the left. They did this. They had this incredible power, a power that they have reserved for nothing else than just randomly making video games woke. Just that's what the left did, all right?
The fascist Trump regime inadvertently triggered a civil war in the gaming community after it hijacked a popular video game character for propaganda purposes. The character in question is Master Chief, pictured behind me, from the Halo series, which is a legend.
Chats, have all y'all played Halo? Am I dealing with a bunch of capital G gamers, lower G gamers here, fans of the Halo series? Like I myself have beaten the first 3 Halos on the original Xbox and then the Xbox 360. I haven't played a lot of the new ones. It got to be too many. At a certain point, I was just like, oh, what's the new one? It's like, oh, this is Halo Infinite Squadron 5 plus 12. I'm like, okay, no, I'm not there, but I did play some of the early Halos. I really enjoyed them. They were fun. A lot of fun to play with friends. Yeah, fun games to play with people.
Legendary game franchise that I myself am a fan of. And while I'm no diehard per se, I definitely enjoy the series. I picked up the first Halo on the original Xbox. Then I
see, he's flexing his gamer cred. Ain't nobody allowed to say that he hasn't actually played Halo. Yeah, that's a man who's played Halo.
Picked up the HD remaster on Xbox 360, and then after that I bought it again on Xbox One when they released.
Okay, that's just ridiculous. Why would you buy it 3 times in a row? You've already played the game, okay? You've played the remaster. What the fuck? You have to play the remaster of the remaster? No, madness.
It's the Master Chief Collection, and they recently announced that they're going to be releasing it yet again. And will my dumbass quadruple down? Probably. At least, you know, when there's a sale, I might pick it up on Steam. But the reason why the newest remake is so significant is because for the first time, Halo is coming to PlayStation. And this led to GameStop declaring the console wars over, writing in this half-serious press release, Halo Campaign Evolved is officially coming to PlayStation in 2026 with cross-platform play. Therefore, GameStop, acting under its authority as a neutral entity in the world's retail gaming and trade-in destination, hereby declares the official cessation of the console wars. And this press release is where the story we're going to talk about today begins, because the Trump regime decided to use this as an opportunity to pander to gamers, which resulted in a cringeworthy back and forth between them and GameStop. So
I also want to start by saying the DHS has used a lot of copyright material, copyright properties, such as Pokemon, and Nintendo's done nothing about it. The litigious ass Nintendo. Nintendo will sue your ass if you release like a Pokemon cartoon, if you try to release fan fiction, if you release like a Pokemon movie, if you fucking stop and they used to sue people for playing games, like playing Nintendo games and uploading the video game footage. Like there was a period of time where they would actually come after you and DMCA strike you for that. And I was like, why? This advertises your shit. It started a whole battle over to like who actually owns gameplay footage. So it's like the video game owned the content of every single play footage of any person who's played any video game ever. Like that's just a ridiculous fucking lawsuit.
The regime's rapid response account credited Trump for presiding over the end of the 20-year console wars, to which GameStop replied with a picture of Trump and Master Chief shaking hands, his neck pussy notably absent. Then the White House joined in with this AI-generated picture of Donald Trump, no neck pussy included, in Master Chief's armor with an energy sword, which is an iconic weapon from the series. GameStop then replied to that with a picture of Trump wearing Master Chief's helmet as if his big-ass head could fit in it, and they include a memified version of JD Vance as Cortana, Master Chief's AI sidekick. And then after that, the Department of Homeland Security jumped on the bandwagon too, and they used Halo to...
Wait, GameStop is bad? I can't buy used games there anymore? There's not a lot of used game stores left. A lot of the independent ones have closed down. I love used video games. I never buy new games. And I recycle. But power to the player.
recruit brown shirts for the ICE Gestapo with the caption, "Destroy the Flood." Silly me for thinking that the TV show was the worst bastardization of the series, but I mean, here we are. But that tweet right there is really the straw that broke the camel's back, and I have to give you some additional context so you understand why fans of the series were so outraged by that particular tweet. And spoiler warning for all of the PlayStation players who've never played before, but the Flood, which they reference, is a parasitic alien species that you discover in the game that you have to kill by all means necessary because, as Halopedia explains, the Flood reproduces and spreads by infecting other organisms, hijacking their bodies and nervous systems in order to transform them into one of many specialized forms. Through infecting sentient life forms, the Flood assimilates their memories and intelligence, and the species becomes collectively more intelligent as a result. Because of their frighteningly rapid growth rate, as long as enough hosts of sufficient biomass and intelligence are available, the Flood is effectively unstoppable. In other words, the threat of the Flood is so severe that an ancient, more advanced alien species known as the Forerunners built super weapons known as Halos to wipe out all life in the galaxy to stop the spread of the Flood, because if there's no life for them to leech off of, then they can't grow and spread. In other words, the Forerunners believed that this parasitic alien threat was so severe that it was justifiable to destroy all life in the galaxy just to stop them. And that right there is what Homeland Security is saying immigrants are akin to the Flood. They're saying immigrants are such a severe threat that atrocities are warranted to stop them from invading and spreading. That is why fans of Halo were so taken aback by this post, because it is despicable. And the people will understand.
When obviously it represents capitalism. You see what I did there? There's your media analysis. Probably not what they were going for at all. It's all right. I can wishcast.
Stand Halo lore. See that.
Hey, Maple Takes, good to see you. Everyone check out Maple Takes channel.
This is a level of dehumanization of immigrants that is comparable to the propaganda that Nazis disseminated to demonize.
That's called projection. Sure, I'll project all day, baby.
Jews in the 1930s. It's truly abhorrent, and some prominent gamers like Joe Vargas, aka Angry Joe, didn't appreciate the franchise that they love being used for propagandistic purposes.
Okay, so we lost GameStop, but we gained Angry Joe. I guess that was the trade. Yeah.
He wrote on Twitter, "Fuck ICE and fuck Donald Trump. Get the fuck out of here with using Halo for your shitty dehumanizing police state propaganda. No one thinks your shit is cool besides low IQ her mega cult members on X, half of which are bots. Y'all gonna find out soon the next election." Now the Act Man joined him, writing, "Only deportation I want to see is the guy who runs this account." And in an article for PC Gamer, Andy Chalk argues, where the Trump is Master Chief post is merely cringeworthy, the Homeland Security message is flat out dangerous. Comparing immigrants in the US to a parasitic alien life form that infects and annihilates advanced societies is not just deeply offensive, it's also rooted in the worst of human history, as seen in the Untermenschen of the Holocaust and cockroaches in Rwanda, to name.
By the way, it's not new though. I mean, the DHS has been Nazi posting for a long time now. You know, they were doing full Manifest Destiny towards indigenous people style posts. They've actually invoked old, like, fucking alt-right Groiper memes, like the Moon Man. I had to look that one up. I was like, I can't totally remember the Moon Man. I was like, I gotta look up Moon Man and what, oh my god, that's what it was. Oh, that's so cringe. Jesus, you're adults. I know you have mortgages, and then many of you probably have children. A few, at least one of you probably has been able to, you know, find a woman desperate enough. So there's got to be a few of you who have actual lives, and you're posting Moon Man fucking shit on the main timeline.
A couple recent examples. Dehumanizing the other so you can more easily inflict cruelty, injustice, and horrors upon them is hardly a new technique, and the US government's messaging was not subtle. And he adds, you might think that using imagery from one of its best-known video games in a call to destroy immigrants would prompt Microsoft to action, or at least to express some small modicum of disapproval. For now, at least, you would be wrong. Rather, like Nintendo, which eagerly picks copyright fights it knows it can win, but kept its mouth tightly zipped when Homeland Security used Pokemon to promote violent immigration raids, a representative told PC Gamer that Microsoft does not have anything to share on this matter. Which is interesting for a corporation hyper-obsessed with their image and brand, but to understand why Microsoft is taking this position, all you have to do is follow the money. As CBS News reports, Microsoft doesn't want to upset President Neck Pussy because they stand to lose hundreds of millions of dollars in federal contracts if they do. In fact, they're one of multiple big tech companies kissing his fat ass by funding his ballroom in order to stay in his good graces. That's what explains their deafening silence. But as Andy mentioned,
that's what everyone responds to me when I'm just like, so, apparently Nintendo is completely fine with this, totally fine with their copyright material being used to just show crimes against humanity, and that's all cute, and you're not going to do anything about that. But if one fucking creative fan of yours has the audacity to be like, look at my comic, look at my Pikachu comic, I'm so proud of it. Here, look. Immediately it's like, take down notice. You are not allowed to do this. This is copyright material. It's like that kid was like 12 years old. It was just a little Pikachu comic. Why are you so mad about this? All gameplay footage, take it down. No, you are not allowed to emulate our games. No ROMs. All of it is illegal. You can't do that, even for games that we are taking down. Like, that's the other part that always guts me, is like these video game companies, everything is going online these days. Like, there's a lot more, like less and less physical media, obviously because it's more expensive than having to just have online stores and Steam and all that kind of stuff. The problem is that if those stores decide to not carry a game anymore, or a game that you have and you downloaded, all of a sudden they're like, oh, this one is not allowed to be activated anymore on our network. We know you're terminally online, but you are also always online. You can't play that game anymore. Well, then all of a sudden you lose a game that you've cherished for a very long time, and you don't have a physical copy of it, so you can't play it anymore. And then the only way to play it is to emulate it with an emulator and a ROM and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, oh, that's super illegal. You definitely can't do that. No. You got to wait until we decide that it's okay to play it again, or we re-release some kind of remastered remix something.
Nintendo took the same bitch-ass approach after DHS shared a video of ICE arresting immigrants with the caption, "Gotta catch 'em all," to the tune of the Pokemon theme song. They also spliced in scenes from the anime, and even though the Pokemon company issued a statement saying that they didn't give them permission to use their IP, they did fuck all to get it taken down, which is stunning because if you so much as hum the Pokemon theme song, Nintendo will send ninjas to your home to rip off your fucking head and shit down your throat. We're talking about one of the most litigious companies in all of gaming, but yet they have no interest in stopping their IP from being used for fascist propaganda. It is so pathetic. But to get back to Halo, even though Microsoft was too chicken shit to condemn the use of their IP as fascist recruitment propaganda, some of the original creators of Halo just were not having it. Journalist Stephen Totillo reports, Marcus Leto, co-creator of Halo and lead designer of Master Chief, told GameFile that he found the DHS ICE post absolutely abhorrent. He added, "It really makes me sick seeing Halo co-opted like this."
Theo Von had the tweet to the DHS to have them take him down, but it was like that. Like, that's the example I always use when people are like, I don't think anyone wants to fuck with them. I don't think they want to go through lawyers. They don't want to, like, make Trump angry. You don't even have to be like, we are disgusted by this. Take this down or you will speak to our lawyers. You don't have to even be that aggressive. Like, all Theo Von did was quote tweet a DHS thing, being like, hey, by the way, I didn't give you permission to use this. And also my views on immigration are nuanced. And so I prefer if you not use me for this kind of stuff. And they took it down instantly. Like, I don't know what temp was just like, oh my God, and then like deleted it on the spot. But I'm sure you could do the same thing without pissing Trump off if you actually cared, right? Like, again, it kind of shows that you are at the very base level fine being complicit in all of this. Fine if your intellectual property and your brand are directly being associated with fascism. I would think a lot of people would be repulsed by that. Like, I'm just going to put it out there. I think Ben & Jerry's would not stand for that, if they started trying to do that to them. But in this case, when it comes to Microsoft, when it comes to fucking, all these big tech companies, they're in bed with Trump. They are in bed with this project. They have seen the writing on the wall, and they're like, yeah, okay, we're fascist now. And, if things change, they'll obviously suddenly switch back to like, oh no, we care about all these things. We care about diversity, about inclusion. We care about the LGBTQ plus community. We care about keeping our community safe. We care about so much about this because that's what you care about, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're fascist now. Okay, sure. Yeah, you go ahead. Yeah, the Master Chief is actually taking down immigrants. You got it.
Jamie Greisemer, who was one of the chief designers of several early games in the series, says Halo is a cultural icon, and like anything with cultural capital, it is going to be used by politicians and brands and anyone else looking for relevancy. Usually, I take it as a compliment to Halo's continuing legacy. Greisemer had found the Trump is Master Chief post amusing, but the ICE one he did not. Quote, using Halo imagery as a call to destroy people because of their immigration status goes way too far and ought to offend every Halo fan, regardless of political orientation. orientation, Greismer said. I personally find it despicable. The Flood are evil zombie parasites and are not an allegory to any group of people. But ICE propaganda aside, other gamers pointed out that it was a bit ironic for the Trump regime to pretend as if they're somehow pro-gamer. As Daniel Ahmad put it, the Trump tariffs have been directly responsible for the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Nintendo Switch seeing a price increase in the United States. Not sure how that's, quote, power to the players. Now, in a different viral post, this person shared a picture of Master Chief giving Trump a wedgie with 2 headlines about how Trump called for a crackdown on violent video games after blaming them for mass shootings. Others also shit on the fascist co-optation of Halo. This person says fuck ICE with a red versus blue teabagging gif. People shared this widely circulated AI image of Master Chief calling for the release of the Epstein files. This person shared an image of Jeffrey Epstein welcoming Master Chief to the Lolita Express. And last but not least, this person responded to GameStop saying Master Chief would never shake hands with a pedophile or rapist. He'd literally be fighting against Trump. MAGA are the Covenant, LOL, an autocratic theocracy. And that person is absolutely correct. Master Chief literally fought against the hyper-religious alien species called the Covenant that wanted to destroy the galaxy by activating the Halos because they thought that it would trigger a rapture that would allow them to ascend to the great beyond. Sound familiar? Nonetheless, Nazi-adjacent gamers on Twitter felt like the DHS Halo meme got them to view the franchise in an entirely different light, which led to them being shit on by other people for their lack of media literacy. For example, the American Culturalist tweeted, realizing that the Flood in Halo was always a metaphor for mass migration, to which Simmons responded, you people are so fucking stupid. Others also responded to memes that were being circulated about how triggered the wokeists supposedly were by Halo, writing, they just don't get it. Halo hasn't.
And honestly, this is the same crowd that has always been like, you know, screaming about like, keep politics out of video games, keep politics out of video games. And now they're like, actually, I love this. And the response to them, for people who are pointing this out, is to say like, well, you were doing this to us before, so now it's just a taste of your own medicine kind of thing. As if we believe in nothing. We just want to play team sports kind of shit. I don't know if you know this, but like, you know, serial stalkers, Smash JT, from the same folks who brought you keep politics out of gaming. Look at this. Yeah, look how gay Halo used to be. And so this was super fucking political for being gay. And this is what I've been telling everyone for a while, especially for these like anti-woke tourist gamers, the bigots. All of them inherently see people's existences as being political. That's why they're constantly fighting against it. And it doesn't have to be like, there is not a single Halo video game. I've played most of them, not the new ones, but like I played a lot of them. I played through a lot of them, and there is no gay storyline. There is no that you play as a lesbian, and you know, as a proud lesbian, you are also, you know, trying to reach at a certain point of the game your partner who's been captured by, you know, like none of that exists. The games are not LGBTQ plus themed in any way. What happens is, you know, back in the day when a lot of these companies wanted to basically do pink washing or rainbow washing and you know, signal to consumers that they in fact had their best interests at heart, you know, around the time of Pride, they would usually brand and do you know, rainbow themed posts and stuff like that. But this in no way like it is oppression, right? Like all of them play this oppression simulator game 24/7 in their own brains, where they're constantly being like, well, this fucking, I don't want to see this. I'm so sick of this. And to other folk, you know, folk who happen to be gay or trans, you don't get to just turn that off. Like what you consider to be political is just another person's existence. Like people's existence to you is inherently political. That's why any single game that has a strong female protagonist in it, that it doesn't happen to be like a, you know, fucking sex bot of some kind, they see that as a threat. It's threatening their way of life. It's threatening their actual, like, you know, skewed, fucked up version of reality where women have to be nothing more than birth givers and all this kind of shit. That's how they want women to be portrayed in their games. And when they're not, they get super mad. They also want them to be straight. So if they happen to be lesbians, they get super mad. They also want them to be white. So if they happen to be multiracial or black, they get super mad, and over and over and over and over, to the point where like half the time now they don't even know what they're angry about. They have to be angry about something. They're like, their economic fucking, it demands it on a regular basis. They have to put out yet another video where it's just like, could you believe this game went woke? What's woke about it? The samurai is a woman. Okay, sorry, that's woke. Not a very attractive one, I think. Yeah, not objectively, not as attractive as she should be. Yeah, bigger tits maybe. I don't totally know. Okay. Well, this one, there's gay. What's the gay? Spider-Man. Okay. Is he gay? Did they make Spider-Man gay? No. Okay. Is Mary Jane gay? Is Dr. Octopus gay? Is one of the main characters suddenly gay? Did they change? Was there a sexuality flip on it? No. But there's a side quest, and in the side quest that you go down an alleyway, on one corner of the alleyway from a certain angle, if you look at it, there's a spray painted trans flag on the wall of a building. And so that's woke right there and gay. It's like, you don't have to play that side quest. Also, how does any of this affect you? Why are you all getting so angry about this? It doesn't make any sense to me. You wouldn't survive a day in the shoes of a minority. Do you realize that? Can you imagine growing up and not seeing a single white character in anything? Anything, not any of the protagonists, except for occasionally they'd show up as a side character or as like the mythical white man who is going to help them out on a quest or something like that and teach them an important lesson and sing its song or something like that. That's the only time you'll ever see them. Or as the butt of a joke. They'll show up and they'll suddenly be super flamboyant and silly and stupid and fall over and all these people and everyone laughs at them. That's the only representation you get. Could you imagine that? Wouldn't that be strange? Wouldn't you want to see a stronger representation of who you see in the mirror every single day? Is that a wrong thing for other people to want? And still, all of you get the majority of the media. That's the other fucked up thing. Every main character in most movies, video games, TV shows, literature, even the loves, interests, and songs and thongs are usually white. It's usually straight white people. Usually, all right? And when they are exceptions, they're known as, that's a good movie. Oh yeah? Yeah, it's a good black movie. A good black movie. Yeah, it's like good, yeah. Great movie, sorry. I just mean, the good movie, and it's predominantly with black characters in it. But great movie. I loved it. I would watch it a third time if I could. I certainly would.
Changed. The flood was never an allegory for a group of people. This is them appropriating Halo to fit a modern political narrative, and that's the problem. And I've got to say that it is absolutely hilarious to me that the same people who bemoaned the politicization of video games are all of a sudden celebrating the politicization of video games. People like the Quivering, the internet's second stinkiest degenerate, who took a break from being triggered by black characters in video games to make fun of how triggered everyone else is, specifically Angry Joe, because he dared to say, hey, you shouldn't use a franchise that we all love in that way because it's despicable and dehumanizing. But here's what he had to say.
The entire leftoid gaming community, the ones that gatekeep, the ones that are responsible for the state of modern gaming, which is essentially everything in the AAA sphere, is absolute garbage. And the only good game you can get nowadays is essentially
just so you know that was the communists that did this. Yeah, the state of current AAA video games, these monstrously huge corporations, they're basically bottom line and business ethics. It's because of the left. They did this. They had this incredible power, a power that they have reserved for nothing else than just randomly making video games woke. Just that's what the left did. All right,
from an indie or a foreign studio, the people that thought, Star Wars Outlaws was a great game, even though everyone, the people that led to basically 2/3 of the industry collapsing with their stupid, idiotic, we need to have ugly women in video games take.
How many socialists do you think work in video game companies at the upper echelon, in forms of management, in forms of creative directors, like CEOs, COOs, vice presidents? Is there one? Is there one avowed and open commie or socialist or anarchist, dare I say, who's at the top tier of a AAA game studio, who's just there is like, what'll really make this studio pop? What's that? Well, ugly women. What's that you say? Yes, we need women in games, specifically ugly women. Why, sir? Why? Because it'll piss people off. Very, very secure men in their masculinity will get real mad at it and will sell more video games. Well, the logic is sound. I mean, when you say it like that.
These people are having an absolute meltdown, and I'm here for it. In particular, Angry Joe, who famously destroyed his channel with a legendary Trump meltdown when he won the election. The biggest mistake that these leftoids made was thinking that they were, that there were no conservative gamers.
Not a single leftist has ever thought about that. The thing that we've always pointed out is that you are not representative of the totality of the gaming community, but holy fuck are you loud. And that's the problem. Is that the majority of people are not hateful, transphobic, fucking unwashed wizards like yourself. They're just not. They are actual people who want to enjoy shit. They are people with hopes and dreams. And yes, they are diverse. There's women who play video games. They make up the half of the totality of people who play video games. For you to just consistently want to vilify and isolate them is bizarre, strange, and speaks to your own fucked up brain. It's you. You are the problem. You and the rest of the outrage industrial complex. Every single person who has a YouTube channel that's based entirely on farming outrage 24/7 over shit that the regular people in the world do not give a fuck about. No one is waking up in the morning and being like, how am I going to pay my bills? And also, is there a half black lesbian in the new upcoming Naughty Dog game? That really concerns me. But also, how am I going to afford my bills? How am I going to pay for my child's medication? But also, like, what are we doing here?
Well, first of all, yes, of course, there are and continue to be conservative gamers. But also, the biggest group of gamers are probably people who are apolitical. And they got real tired of leftoids being like, this game has to have trans characters in it. This game has to have 2 women. This game has to have X, Y, and Z number of black people in it. And then they would worry about.
And the other thing about that is that, like, you don't see the apolitical gamer normie who's playing through a game and then randomly is doing a side quest, and then in the middle of the side quest was like, oh my god, my entire gaming experience has been ruined by the introduction of the singular character who happens to not actually be a main character. They're an NPC, and they happen to just be a merchant in this one storyline, but I just found out that they might actually be gay. My entire I can't play this. I'm sorry, it's terrible. Or the fact that, like, a lot of games that come out, the games will sell incredibly well, or there'll be amazing titles that everyone loves, say like Red Dead Redemption 2, for example, and then there will be a photo of the staff that works at Rockstar, and then these same fucking creeps will then post that photo and be like, this is why games are ruined, because it's got a lot of women in the photo, because there are a lot of women who work for that company, and a lot of women who have worked on developers and on part of the creative team making those incredible games that they all loved, that they were completely fine with playing start to finish and being like, that game was so fucking epic, bro, I can't believe it was so great. But then that photo comes out of like, oh my god, women, oh my god, one of them has pink hair, oh my god, there's a black guy, and you're just like, you're just all insecure racists and misogynists, and why'd you have to make it everyone else's problem? You know? You're so loud on the internet. You've got these little armies of trolls who are just as miserable as you because you keep them like that. You have to keep them in perpetual misery so that they can continue to watch your videos and feel terrible about themselves and the world, and then go out on the fucking internet and just complain about shit that doesn't affect their lives. It's just like, yeah, are you unhappy in life because you're not doing great in school, because you don't have a lot of friends, because you're having trouble getting a girlfriend, all these kind of things, and other kids make fun of you and stuff like that? You log on to the internet and then you spend all day getting mad at trans people, getting mad at gay people, getting mad at black people, just watching the quarter rate who's just like, can you believe that yet another video game has been ruined, this one by a black samurai? It's not historically accurate, okay? I studied the shonen, I studied the blade, I know. And it's just like, well, goddamn, what a waste of life across the board.
About that, which people say, well, what do you care? That's fine, but then they would put out a garbage game and tell us that we didn't like it because the main character was black or the main character was female, when the truth of the matter was that the game sucked.
You hate on those games before they get released. That's the entire grift. There's an arc you can track every single time. It's outrage, 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 outrage. What about the trailer that just came out can you determine is quote unquote woke? Oh, Harley Quinn. She's not as attractive. Okay, that's all right. Not quite as good. Ethnic swap. There's a character who used to be white but is now black. Okay, we're getting better. All right, what else can we get mad about? A trans flag. think? No, that not a trans flag. No, that one doesn't really count. Okay, rainbow, definitely a rainbow. Oh, yeah, we got it. Rainbow right there. Yeah, that could just be, again, the fact that the camera is panning over and that's refracted light coming from the sun. But you know what? Fuck it. Rainbow, indoctrination, woke indoctrination, you got them. And this shit, it goes all the way up until the release. And then a lot of these AAA games, like they are known to do, sell fucking ridiculously high amounts. Like, you know, the recent outrage cycle over Ghost of Yotei was like a whole bunch of different shit, right? The actress who played the main character, she's apparently super woke, she's pro-Antifa. They were talking about how the game doesn't have a male protagonist, and that really fucks it up because the previous game did. They're mad about that. There was like all these issues happening simultaneously surrounding that game, and then it gets out, and then it sells faster than the previous title. So then everyone just goes quiet about it and has to move on to the next outrage. What new trailer's out? The Wolverine trailer's out. What about the new Wolverine trailer? Mystique. Oh my God, Mystique is not as attractive, I suppose, as you know, the model who played her in the films was, or Jennifer Lawrence. So that's what woke. That apparently Mystique is trans. Mystique is a shapeshifter. You fucking wastes of humanity. Everyone gets me so mad that all of you are tourists. You don't care about these properties. You don't care about anything. You just care about reverting the world to some weird version of it where you can control everything again. It's just so fucked up. It's so tiring. Tokyo Hands, thank you for being a member for 20 months. Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball is woke. What's with all the women in the game? I know. Women in the game and jiggle physics and then great replay value.
Balls. Because when you're spending all your time worried about diversity in video games, you're not spending time working on making a great game, an awesome game, right? You're not worried about that. You're worried about diversity. And so they lost. The left lost the video game wars. You know, Ubisoft is in shambles. You know, Ghost of Yotei, even, you know, from a beloved studio, sucked. You know, people have had enough.
You stupid, stinky bitch. The AAA gaming industry isn't fucked up because of forced diversity. It's fucked up because of greed, which is incentivized by capitalism, which you should know, seeing as how it's the economic system that you shill for on a daily basis. But I mean,
for a second there, I forgot we were watching a Mike video. I was just getting so angry at the quartering. They were just sitting there, and I was blinded by that until Mike returned. You stupid, stinky bitch.
Think of how idiotic this line of thinking is. At a time when corporations like Microsoft are buying up studios and shutting them down, at a time when thousands of game developers are being laid off despite the success of their games simply to shore off corporate profits, they get fired anyway, at a time when companies are releasing unfinished games and raising prices, nickel and diming us with microtransactions and paid DLC here and there, this dumb motherfucker somehow convinced himself that the industry is in shambles because developers can't make good games because they're forced to hyper-focus on diversity to appease the woke left. I mean, to call this mentality childish would be an insult to children. It is downright fucking idiotic. And its evidence is that all of the AAA games with
Quite 185. Thanks for giving the tier 1 sub to Wilco. Appreciate that.
woke characters, i.e. women and black people and LGBTQ plus people, they're just not good. And had they focused more on making games fun instead of diversity, their games would actually be good. Except
I'd also like to add, just while I have time, and I am going to finish this video, Mike is killing it and crushing it, that when left to their own devices, like say one of these people, these like incredibly angry, you know, fucking disgusting ass gamers, decides upon themselves to make a game, like say take a guy called Andy Pants Gaming. Andy Pants Gaming, right-wing culture war, super anti-woke, super anti-women, super anti, you know, people of color, you name it, gay people, trans. He hates them all. He hates everything. Everything that isn't cis, white, straight, male, all that kind of stuff. So this dude has a disgusting YouTube channel, just what you'd expect, very low-tier outrage over, like, a video game comes out, and he's like, oh, I can't believe there's a gay person here, blah, blah. So he takes it about himself to make a video game. He ends up making a game about, I think it's called The Woke Chad versus the Nazis, I believe was the title. I've got some, basically he made an entire video game using exclusively AI art because he doesn't know how to make pixel art or how to program or code or do even basic things like shading. And it's exactly what you'd expect, right? So the whole thing uses AI art of other assets stolen, and then he just did really shitty Photoshop jobs. You couldn't even like put in a prompt where it's just like, you know, a Black Hawk helicopter that happens to have a pride flag on the front. You had to do a really shitty ass Photoshop job in there. Inclusive task force. And it's, you know, got every stereotype you could think of. Essentially, the idea is that gay people are Nazis and they're trying to abduct and rape children. And you play the protagonist, which I believe is a version of himself, where he walks around and is a janitor at a school trying to stop all the woke indoctrination that's happening around him. Really telling you all the demons that he was fighting in his own brain, right? Where this is the way he sees everyone else around him. You know, you have the black woman with the Kill Whitey shirt. You have gay people wearing the future is queer or non-binary people, believe trans kids and stuff like that. All of them have demon eyes. We accept, baptize as Master Satan. There's a whole bunch of people in prisons in the background. You know, all the children are imprisoned. I got to be really careful what I show you in terms of the gameplay or footage of this video game. That again, it's apparently just unplayable. Like here's some of what it looks like when you're actually playing the game. Like, I think it's supposed to be a run and gun shooter, but again, like, but it led to him having his daughter taken away from him in real life. Yeah, his daughter was he lost custody of his kid because apparently he put his own daughter in the video game, and there are nude scenes in the video game, and so he actually produced child sexual abuse material of his own daughter. And then put that in a video game, and then released the video game to the general public and tried to put it on Steam until it was taken down pretty abruptly for very obvious reasons. I mean, if it's not getting taken down for all the hate crimes and shit like that, it was eventually going to get taken down for the fact that, like, if you play, I guess, deep enough into the game, I haven't played it, so I can't speak to it, and it's, you know, artistic value, but apparently you get to a point where you will see shots of naked children, pixel art naked children, but still naked children nonetheless. So that, you know, child sexual abuse materials. One of the characters who is portrayed as his own daughter, which obviously I guess led to either his spouse or his ex-spouse. I didn't know if he was already divorced. I mean, that would be grounds for divorce pretty quick, though, if I found out, like, hey, what have you been working on every day in the basement, you know, until the wee hours of the night, saying that you were really gonna fucking crush them. Oh yeah, my game's coming out soon. Yeah, Super Chad versus the woke Nazis. Just you wait, it's gonna change gaming. Yeah, so apparently he lost custody of his daughter. Andy Pants Gaming, stop noticing the war on men. Your grandpa was right. Giving women the right to vote was the first mistake we made. He lost custody of his kid, by the way. The replies to this from people saying he's right is so funny because they don't even know that he used his daughter to produce AI child sexual abuse material for a video game he made. Yeah, whoopsie.
He's just wrong. He's objectively wrong. Ghost of Yotai, the game that he brought up, which has a female lead, therefore it's woke, that is an incredible game with a Metacritic score of 86. Spider-Man 2 features Miles Morales, a black Hispanic character. That's another excellent game that's supposedly woke, but still well received. The Horizon series, which features a diverse cast and a lesbian lead, also very, very good. But just because you can't enjoy them because you're too triggered doesn't mean that the rest of us don't enjoy these games. And the reason why gaming companies are making games more diverse is because of money, not because they're trying to appease some imagined woke mob. Gaming is no longer a niche hobby exclusively for nerds. It's now a mainstream thing that's enjoyed by all demographics, and the push for diversity is an attempt to expand their market share. Like, when you see a company change its logo for Pride Month, do you think that they're doing that out of the goodness of their hearts? No, they don't give a fuck about LGBTQ plus people. They're gayifying their logos to pander to queer people because they want their money. Queer money spends just as much as straight money does, right? That's why they do it, period. But I will say this. I do agree with the quivering about one thing. Indie games are better in general, but he's not smart enough to understand why that's the case, why they're better. It's because unlike AAA studios, indie game studios, they haven't yet become big enough and profitable enough to be driven purely by shareholders who pressure them to make the green line go up higher and higher year after year. And you know that their success isn't contingent on them not being woke or something, because Expedition 33, for example, a phenomenal indie game that's very likely going to win Game of the Year, would be considered woke by his standards since it has multiple female leads. Hades 2, another possible Game of the Year contender by an indie studio, has a female lead and gay characters. Vampire Survivors, another woke game with trans characters. Read the best here if you don't believe me. That's another game that is highly regarded by everyone who's played it. Indie games aren't better, though, because, there isn't some woke corporate overlord pushing them to add more marginalized characters. They're better because they haven't been corrupted by greed like the larger studios who are purely motivated by profits. But regardless if people like him want to admit it or not, they are the ones who are endlessly
I've never made it far enough in Vampire Survivors to find that out. I didn't even know that.
triggered. So much so that they've become the mirror image of the 2015 era SJW with blue hair that they always make fun of. And now we are the ones dunking on them in the way that they were dunking on SJWs, because it's so clownish, and we're sick and tired of their endless bitching and moaning, and it's led to so many people, even prominent gamers, going off on them, like Fightin' Cowboy, who went viral earlier this year for this amazing rant.
I'm gonna make this clear. If you're just coming here to get into this weird fucking race shit about a historical figure that existed in Japanese history, I'm just gonna remove you. And guess what? That means you ain't gonna be around for Kazan or Night Rain or AI Limit or any of that shit. I don't give a fuck what your opinion is of this game. I don't care. Your opinion is worthless to me. The quality of health of my morning shit had a bigger impact on my thought process today than you being upset that there's a black guy in Assassin's Creed. So shut the fuck up. All right? We're not doing this shit. It's a fucking video game. If you are upset that there's a black guy in a video game, fuck off. I don't want you here. I don't care. Stop. I'm not doing this fucking argument. Every goddamn game these days. Oh, it's woke. Oh, there's a black guy. Oh, there's a trans person. Shut the fuck up. Either play the game or go the fuck outside, bro. It's not that hard. God damn. I've been on this earth 37 fucking years. When I was a kid, guess what? If a game came out and I didn't want to get involved with it, I didn't fucking play with it. I didn't go on the internet and cry like an entitled little child. Wah, 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 wah. The game doesn't have stuff that I want. So shut the fuck up and leave, bro.
That was excellent, and I think that he speaks for most of the people in society whose brains haven't been rotted by terminally hyper-online conservatism that bitches about every single thing, and the widespread mockery and denunciation of the rights appropriation of Halo speaks to this growing frustration that normal people are feeling with these petulant reactionaries who just suck all of the joy out of every single video game and movie and TV show, and I'd say books too, but they can't read, so thankfully that industry is spared from their wrath. But even though they're entitled to their shitty opinions, the rest of us aren't triggered.
That's true. You don't hear them going after books. Like, they're not like, I just read the message, just came out from Ta-Nehisi Coates. I gotta say, pretty woke, bro. Didn't think when I picked that one up, it was gonna be woke propaganda.
When we tell them to shut the fuck up after hearing one of their brain-dead takes on multimedia. So I, for one, refuse to let a fascist regime hijack a franchise that I grew up with for propagandistic purposes. Although, since I'm a generous guy, they can enjoy the TV show. They can keep that one. But on a serious note, though, like, video games are one of the few spaces that we have where we can escape the dystopia that we're living in. And I'll be damned if the Trump regime is going to invade our virtual spaces too, right? So kudos to everybody, all the gamers who are condemning these idiots. Despite the abundance of loudmouths and dipshits clapping like seals at Nazi-like DHS tweets, they are not the majority. We are.
What was the person someone said that I have to check out that clowns them really good? Was it Mega64? I'm not familiar with their work. Unless it's is that the Twitter account or is it an actual YouTube channel? I'm familiar with the Twitter account. Stellar Blade will be the downfall of Sony. Yeah, this has got to be it. Back to the Stellar Blade controversy.
I pledge to sign the petition because my rights have been violated.
I pledge to sign the petition. The PS5 is basically the Auschwitz of game consoles.
First, they wouldn't release Dead or Alive Extreme 3. Then they made the main girl in Star Wars ugly. It is
ugly butt chin. Was that? I missed the entire Outlaws outrage. I didn't know that was a thing.
ugly. It is happening again.
Somehow, the social studies warriors return.
Now, Sony and woke consulting firm Sweet Baby Rays have massacred the new game Stellar Blade by ruining the costumes.
Oh, that makes me feel sane. Oh, that's good. It was so true. There was like 5% less titty skin.
Thank you so much to our patrons for making this show possible. We could not fund it without you. And if you want to join, please check out patreon.com/theserfs to unlock bonus episodes, uncensored content, and all the good stuff. Thanks to Anna Loves Riley, Addercap, Bobby Lasers, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hegbard Salim, Multimondi, Omni, Political Papi, Preston Kroll, Quiet One 85, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demmel, Tigwick, and Words Greenwood.